Hi, I'm Jamie McLennan, professor of sociology at Georgia Southwestern State University, and today I'm going to talk about the distinction between ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. Have you ever been traveling in a foreign country and were shocked by the foods they ate? Or perhaps you just heard that people in some parts of the world eat chicken feet, tuna eyeballs, or raw baby camel liver? You may have thought to yourself, what's wrong with those people? How could they eat that? Well, if that's what you thought, you are being a little bit ethnocentric. Ethnocentrism is when you judge, often negatively, other cultures according to your own cultural norms and behaviors. And it doesn't just apply to food. You may think the clothing styles, musical tastes, religious practices, systems of government, and their sports or entertainment are strange and possibly inferior. In order to guard against the tendency toward ethnocentrism, we might try to understand a culture on its own terms, from the perspective of the people who live there. This is a practice referred to as cultural relativism. Instead of judging someone else's culture negatively, we consider the fact that cultural norms and behaviors grow out of unique environmental, historical, and situational contexts. So people might eat bats or camels or spiders because they're the best source of calories in that particular location. And the reality is that many of our practices are largely subjective, as people from another culture might look at our customs and think they're weird or bad. And in some cases, they may be onto something. After all, some of us here in the United States eat Rocky Mountain oysters, frog's legs, and fried Twinkies. The other day, I was in a local grocery store and came across a jar of pickled pig's lips. Apparently somebody eats that. I didn't even know pigs had lips. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I just realized I'm being ethnocentric against my own culture. I'm sure pickled pig's lips taste great. So before you go judging other cultures, remember that we do some things that might seem strange to other people outside of our society. Cultural relativism shows us that what is considered normal in one culture may be considered strange in another, and vice versa, but that they're only strange to us because we're not looking at them from the other culture's perspective. The implication of this is that no society is better than another. They're just different. There's no universal objective standard for judging another culture's behaviors because it's all a matter of one's subjective perception. And that makes sense when we're talking about food or clothes or music, but what about other norms and behaviors like how people treat each other? Is there anything that we can say that another society does that is wrong or bad? Or is it all relative? Well, there is at least one anthropologist, Robert Edgerton, who thinks there are limits to cultural relativism. In his 1992 book, Six Societies, Edgerton argues that certain cultural practices, such as female genital mutilation, are maladaptive and harmful. There's also foot binding and widow burning, not to mention slavery and cannibalism. The list of atrocious cultural practices is pretty long. I'm willing to bet that some of you will have some strong feelings on this issue. Feel free to comment down below. Do you think any of these practices are objectively wrong? Or might they be justified given the cultural context in which they are practiced? We're not talking about differences in musical taste here. We're talking about unnecessary human suffering. What do you think? If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.